Hello, friends. Welcome to my channel. I am Ananda Rose. Thank you for joining me on whichever channel it is that you catch this recording, whether it be Light Language Messenger or Ananda Rose. I am feeling impressed upon to come and say something today on the channel. And this message that needs to come out to the forefront. I was given it a few weeks ago. And there were a few things that were the catalysts for it. And so, I thought, well, right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be obedient. There's been times when I've done recordings and I've just stopped, or I did the whole recording and I just felt it wasn't good enough to post. So I haven't been doing that. And I'm not sure what that's about. I'm not sure what's been affecting my energy, whether that is higher purposed or whether it is sabotage, right? There's a lot of that infiltration, sabotage thing going on, especially with technology and all of that. So in the light of that, I will say this: I'm wishing you well, and I'm wishing for you that you are navigating life well at this point in time. And if things are happening in your world that is unusual, for you to perhaps tune in and see, hey, where is that coming from? If I'm having these so many technology problems, or I'm having these thought patterns, where is that coming from? Is it really from guidance? Is it really that I'm not supposed to do a certain thing? Or is it really um, other things affecting us in a way that is sort of helping us? It's almost sounding like the voice of intuition, but it's asking you to do the opposite of what you usually do, right? So, and also intuition could be asking you to do the opposite of what you usually do, right? So, friends, it sounds confusing, I know, but I'm trying my best to be able to I hope, make sense with this, right? And this is happening to us uh, that have been awakening since 2012. And those of us that have been doing a lot of the intuitive work, it's happening to us. So why would it not happen to anybody else? And I'm not saying we're better. What I'm saying is it's happening to all of us, wherever we are on the journey, right? And so if we're tuning in, those that are always tuning in, if we're tuning in and coming to that realization, now imagine if somebody isn't, and they're not to that point in on the destination to self, where they can recognize this, right? So this just adds to the confusion and the mix that's happening here on the planet. So that is why I really send you love and light, and lots of golden light for your navigation right now in life on the planet in this time and space. Excuse me, just needed to have a sip of water. Now, and that's the thing. Having your water, make sure you're having your water, make sure that the water you're having has got a high alkalinity level in it. Go out and ground. We're having a very beautiful day in Auckland today, and I see all these clouds coming up here, but it's been mainly a day that's been sunshine. It's not very hot, obviously, because it's winter, but you can stand in the sun and warm yourself. And we went for our walk. Baxter and I went for our walk. And if anybody doesn't know, Baxter is my dog. We went for a walk earlier, and we stayed out in the sunshine a lot longer than planned. And we got back home, and I did the same thing. I just felt like I really needed to absorb the sunlight. And I sat in the sun with my crystals, and I was just tuning into it. And for those of you that watch the channel, you know that quite often I just break out into light language. And so it happens. So if that was a surprise to anybody, that's normal on this channel. So a couple of things that I want to talk about, and then we'll get to the topic for today. I do radio. I have a radio show that I do on a Friday afternoon, New Zealand time, 3 to 6 p.m. here in Auckland. And the radio is called East FM. The radio station is called East FM. And my show is called the Friday Fry Up, because, it's Friday, and usually a fry up is a quick meal. And the show was originally 2 hours, and then we changed it for 3 hours. And the radio station manager said we could call it the Friday Fry Up, the dinner edition. And so, the dinner edition kind of fell away. But nevertheless, I did my show yesterday. I haven't been at radio for the last 2 weeks. The first week was that I wasn't there was the 28th of June when I interviewed Jack Morrigan. And my dragons had asked me not to go to radio that day because I was tuning in and they were just saying preparation needs to be done in the house before Jack Morrigan's interview. And we had to do a lot of cleansing and clearing and move the office into the lounge area because we needed to be in a vast space because of all the energy that was coming in. So that's what I did. And then last week, what was last week? Last week was the first July show was the 5th of July. I was busy with my taxes. It had to be submitted by the 7th usually, but because the 7th was on Sunday, the taxes were allowed to be submitted by the 8th. And I had done my taxes and submitted them by the 6th, by Saturday. So that was pretty awesome. And now it's about, well, the tax returns are in. And now it's about, all right, we're going to pay them. How are we going to pay them? And that the dragons will show me how to do, right? I'm finding that. So that's what I needed to say. So yesterday I was back at radio and I had planned, I thought I was also feeling this energy yesterday. I thought, I just don't feel like going to radio, all of that, because I do that often. I have this, what an effort and all of that. And then I get to radio and we put stuff through the airwaves. And then I realized I needed to be here. But when I was almost not going to radio, my guides were saying, hey, you need to be there. You better get going there because it's important you're there because today you got to bring something through the airwaves. And that was it. So that's what I did. And one of the things that came through what we had to put through the airwaves was, firstly, we had a couple of or maybe 3 African goddesses arising there, turning up there. Sorry about the noise. Things are falling out. So 3 of them turned up and I thought, okay, well, we needed to obviously give somebody a message through those 3 African goddesses, which I did. And interestingly enough, this African goddess called Mame Kwamba Bang turned up twice yesterday. When I was doing the live chat with Emma from Being Magic, she turned up, but I didn't talk about her because I didn't bring any cards out. And then when I was doing radio, she turned up again. And so there we are. Speak up. I'm going to read for her story, right, today before we go. And if there is another African goddess coming out through there, I'm going to read her story for us. So the African goddesses arrived. We had Beyond Lemuria, and these were Earth cards that turned up. Earth Star Chakra, and the other one was the Earth card that turned up. I'm going to pull the card from there too today, so that's what I'm going to do. But let's talk about what happened on radio. So radio was fine. I did radio, and it was, and what I found throughout this was we started to talk. It was about technology, and our technology is being a bit wonky recently, right? Because we talked about that on the live chat. However, as I was doing this, I talked about the technology, I talked about various things, and I suddenly realized that what I had to do was I had to bring in through the medium of radio frequencies or radio waves, I had to bring in some light codes for the collective, whoever was listening then, wherever, and actually, even if people weren't listening, but it was going out through the radio frequencies. So I believe that when we put things through the radio frequencies, it goes beyond this universe, goes to other galaxies. The call out goes through that, all of that. And so all these different ways, and then we bring in light and we get the support of the galactics is what I believe. And so it was to bring in protection and light codes, the light codes that will protect us here on the planet, but it will also ignite the memory of the light code for whatever may happen or may not happen in this next 6 to 12 months. So someone had talked about a technology going bust, and perhaps the astrology of our solar system at the moment, of our planet, is implying something like that. People are saying things like, there's an energy of something huge coming. perhaps there's another attempt to take us back into the matrix where there is something, we're suddenly going to start to see, oh, maybe that there's the galactics are making attacking Earth or whatever, right? Now, please do not be afraid with what I just said, because I don't believe, for me, I believe we will not be attacked by the galactics. That might not, we are being supported by the galactics. If they wanted to do any kind of attack or whatever, they would have done by now. Okay, because as a planet, what we've been doing to this planet, what we've been doing through the wars on the planet, that's enough. That's enough or good enough reason to have something like that happen. And it's not happened yet. And it's probably never going to happen. Okay. And so I felt that the protection that I put through the radio frequencies yesterday, the light codes that came through with the light language brought in the protection. I said that incorrectly first. Brought in the protection, brought in the light codes to bring in, to know that you are protected, to know that everything you see is not as is, and to know that we must stand firm, to keep doing your meditation practices, to keep doing the things you're doing to stay in a high vibrational space. And also, one more time, whose report will you believe? Will you believe the broadcast, or will you believe the report of your soul, of your intuition? And that is what we brought through yesterday on radio. Okay, that's what I needed to say. I won't go into that too much, because I believe when we do some light language now, I will be bringing in some light codes for all of us that watch this, right? For exactly that reason. Okay, I put the card book away and I need it. How silly of me, but okay. So fear not, for you are protected. Worry not, for you should not worry about things that not have happened, that may happen or may not happen. Go with the flow of high vibrational energy, operating from love, understanding your purpose on the planet, knowing who you are. These are the things that will take you through this time and space, right? Now, recently, probably about a few months ago, I was talking about the souls that are awakening now, right? And this is the second part before I go to the actual topic of what I want to talk about today. And I promise it will not be too long. Well, we hope it's not too long. So I had a conversation with a friend a while back talking about the souls that are awakening now, because, many of us, I've got a piece of cotton sticking out here. Need to fix that. Many of us that doing the work that we're doing, that stand up here on YouTube or on stages and bring in energy, and many of the teachers we follow, they've been they've come onto the planet awakened. That's why misunderstandings have happened through their childhood. They've come onto the planet to be different, and of course, ignorance and unawakened souls have been the ones to bring them up and like bring them into the world, but also bring them up and be part of their childhood. We're talking about parents, we're talking about teachers, we're talking about the grandparents, and so on, right? But so they've been awakened, but been confused about what's up with them, because they've been children and come in more awakened than others, than the adults around them, and then gone through things like physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, all those things, right? So let's just say we've been, okay, because, well, you guys that watched the channel generally, watch all the videos, I made some revelations about myself, my childhood, not so long ago. So we've got all these different states of awakening, and then we've got these people that have been on the planet. So my awakening started just about 2012. Maybe yours has. Maybe yours started in 2017, or maybe, or maybe you woke up last year. Who knows, right? I don't know all the states of awakening. Everybody knows whenever they're awakening. Now, I was talking about these people that have just had recent awakenings, like maybe since the 2020 saga, and, they started their awakening. Now, a lot of people started to see things, started to feel energy, started to we were talking to somebody this week that said they see dragons, they see the fairies, right? but they have no meditation practice. This person has no meditation practice, no routine like we follow. No, not aware of mindfulness practice or breath work or things like that. Not even sure that, I don't even think this person's been doing yoga. And I know for me, my journey was I had to come through all of that, right? That was part of my awakening processes. I've done the Joe Dispenza teachings. I've watched him on YouTube for lots and lots and lots of it to shake myself out of the revelry that I've been in. I've been to Abraham Hicks conferences. I've been to them online. I've been to them physically. I've listened to them like immensely nonstop for like 3 years or whatever, right? I've followed Diana Cooper. I do the meditations with Tim Wild, and recently all of these things are coming to a point where I am leaving them behind because we go through phases of what we will be watching and following, as we all know, right, as we're awakening. But coming back to this person that's just did, or people that are just awakening in the last 5 years that do not have meditation practices, and they don't know how to go about that and assimilate it. This is the thing. If you are one of those people, find out how you can do meditation practices, find out what works for you. In fact, Emma from Being Magic and I might actually go through some processes in the weeks coming about what you do. If you're a soul that is starting to see things, see dragons, see elementals, starting to say things that are not resonating with people, but because of what you're seeing. And then they suddenly start to think, oh, what's wrong with that person? What do they mean they see a dragon? And because they don't understand that, they start to think you're sort of losing it or whatever, right? This is the thing. This is it. People will awaken when they're ready. They will confess to whatever when they're ready. But sometimes they need to ground and balance here on the planet. And they don't know that. Okay. And so then they might say something and it might be the wrong person they're talking to, right? So if you are one of those people, I am encouraging you. I must stop using the word want. I am encouraging you to find things that will help you ground, balance, and just come into stasis with what's happening to your body, your mind, and your energy, and understand that you are awakening. You are coming to that point of realizing that there is more to what the naked eye sees, and that you are starting to see beyond the veil, because the veil has been thin for a long, long time. And your intuition is already starting to come in, and then I suppose the logic needs to catch up with it. Okay, those of us that have been doing the awakening process consciously for a while now, we started to feel things too, but a lot of us had to do the mind work, the intuitive work, like the meditation and the mindful practices and the breathing and all of that, to come back into what we're, so that we could open the third eye, for example, right? Or balance and align the crown chakra or the heart chakra. So you guys are doing it slightly different. And I just want to say there's a lot of support. If you are one of those people, there's a lot of support. So I think it's coming up that we would probably have to talk about mindfulness practices again on the channel. If you're watching it and you're thinking, oh, wow, I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. I'm worried. Am I losing my mind? This can't be normal. It's just you just found it the other way around. Okay, right. So that's what I wanted to say. And we will be doing something. I think we will be talking. But when we bring in the light codes now, we're going to bring in the light codes for protection for all of us on the planet, and for those light codes that remind us to pay attention to our intuition rather than the outside broadcasting. And when we see things happening that are like, wow, oh my gosh, could this be happening? Even if it's looking like we are under attack, like maybe there's like these things up there that looks like spaceships or whatever, right? Trust your intuition. That is the report, and that is the codes we are going to bring in today. Before we finish today, we're going to bring in the codes today. I want to suggest to you that you watch Dr. Stephen Greer. I'm just hearing that now because last year he did a conference. He does a yearly conference, and he's from CE5. He did a conference and he was talking about this very thing where there's going to be something big coming in. It's going to look like we are being attacked by the galactics, because whatever's going to look up there, be shown up there, is going to be looking like spaceships, and you're going to really believe it. Oh my gosh, we're under attack from the aliens, as they're referred to. Please do not buy anything if it is not coming from your intuition. But at the same time, protect yourself. Physical protection, all right, all the practical things, do that. There is no right here, right now, I am encouraging you to protect yourself, your physical status, do the practical things, but also do not buy into the fear. Go within, take that time, start practicing your mindfulness, your breathing, your meditation, whatever it takes to put you in a regular state of mind, of balance every day, so that you can read between the lines, so that you can navigate your life. And that is just, if it means 10 minutes in the morning, just sitting in your chair and breathing with your eyes closed. Put the timer, put your alarm on your phone and do that. Also, with the technology, perhaps put yourself on airplane mode, because you don't need to have any interferences. Emma and I were talking yesterday. Sorry, I'm talking away from the microphone, so I hope you can hear me. But recently, in the last few days, we've had things where we were in a meeting with somebody and a cell phone was turned off, but it started to ring. Yeah. Okay. I talked about my experience with talking about my hair and going to the hairdresser, and suddenly there was a hairdresser contacting me that I'd never been to for, like, I don't know, more than 7 years now. Okay. And suddenly they decided they were going to contact me on that day. And I thought it was pretty ironic. They were offering exactly what I was talking about in my conversations with my daughter and my friend. So, right. So just be vigilant about your energy, okay, and your mindset and your heart and the things you are bringing into your personal space. Like, are you watching things that will be fearful to you, right? Just listen to that music. What do they call it? Like 532 hertz, 437 hertz, 432 hertz, I think, 432 hertz, right? 369, whatever hertz it is that can help you, 888, all of those things that can help you to bring in positive light and love and energy into your space. I'm encouraging you to do that. That is what I'm suggesting. Put your mindfulness practice into practice now. Okay, and start doing, if it's anything, your 10 minutes in the morning of quietness, breathing, lighting an incense, lighting a candle, going within, communicating with your higher self, communicating with the higher you. Also, you can do a simple thing, like if you're outside in the morning, just look up at the sun and just breathe and do a mindfulness practice with the sun. You can stand up and do it. You can do it quietly. You don't have to make a noise. You don't have to sing out aloud. Just be present in the moment and just communicate with the higher you. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk about today was the unawakened soul and the kind of awakening soul. I think Jack Morrigan activated me for this, because right now, when we talk to each other, if you know that if you're into things high vibrational, when you're doing your meditation, and if somebody doing meditation and you're listening to your guidance, you're working with the dragons, and it's not only people who are working with the dragons, you're working with the archangels, you're working with the unicorns. Whatever you're saying, even when you're talking to people, you're actually activating them. Now, I think someone said this a while back, that we activate because we're going to be in a state where we can be with people and then they start to feel happy, or they start to feel energy flowing through them, or they start to feel this, warmth running through the body, or they start to receive healing, right? And, Jesus, when he walked the planet, said we could do those things, right? He said, you will do greater things than I. And he was one of those people. Remember the woman with the issue of blood? She just wanted to touch the garment, the story of that. She just wanted to touch his cloak or his robe or whatever he was wearing. And he felt the energy go out of him. Do you remember Jesus? If you know anything about the story of Jesus and how he healed and who he hung out with when he was here on the planet. So I feel like more and more our energy is affecting others that way, right? So at the end of the day, know that you're doing your part. You don't even have to say, I'm a healer, but your energy, as long as you are doing that, we are now receiving light and light codes this way that we're becoming so effective by just being present. Okay, right. So that's why I say Jack Morrigan activated me for this next thing that I'm going to talk about. Firstly, Jack Morrigan activated me and gave me the courage to talk about my childhood experience. I mentioned the sexual abuse thing in one of my videos. Even now, I feel a little bit like, oh, uncomfortable about talking about it, right? Okay. But I did mention it, and it's becoming easier to make that statement about myself. And for me, it was more, I had to go through that as part of my soul contract. I've come to realize more and more I had to go through that because this is where I'm not saying others don't have compassion, but because my mission involves sending out light codes and things for anybody who is in an abusive situation, for anybody who is in a captive situation. I wasn't captive, but I was captive in the mind from that kind of situation. But it was to aid my mission here on the planet. Okay, coming back to what Jack Morrigan awakened me for. So he awakened me to that situation where I could bravely say that it happened to me, right? But the week leading up to my interview with him, I was listening to him a lot because I was trying to, actually, I was listening to him for like 2 or 3 weeks prior to that. And I was listening to things he was saying about to other people interviewing him. And I thought, so my guides were really impressing upon me that I needed to listen to him because they wanted our interview to take a different flavor. We talked about the childhood experience that he'd had, but we talked about it from the perspective of how he says now that he can still say in one of his interviews, he says, I love my mom, right? Um, Even though we might have our differences, but I love my mom. And I started to, even that week when I made this, it was my daughter's birthday and I'd made a meal for her. And I was listening to Jack whilst doing an interview with somebody else whilst I was cooking. And then I relayed the story to him in that interview, by the way, where I looked at the spices my mom had sent to me from South Africa, and I started to feel and see the golden goddess that she was, the goddess rising within her. And I was angry with my mom for a long time about um, why she couldn't protect me more, why she wasn't more attentive to what was happening, or how could you let teenagers look after your little kid, that kind of thing. Like, weren't you aware? Or sometimes I think some stuff was happening and you were right there, but you didn't see it. What was wrong with you, mom? Why were you blind? That kind of thing. And I've done a lot of the work with regards to that, but that day I started to see the mum that loves me. I started to see how she, in an unawakened state, and my mother is the one who's taught me to be intuitive because she is such an intuitive woman. She is such an intuitive being. She is so highly evolved. And the circumstances of her life have caused her to stay in a state of, I'm not evolved, or I'm just going to follow that. My mother thinks she's a follower. Okay. And I love my mom. And I can really freely, truly say that because since having had that experience and talking to Jack, I feel like he activated me for reconciliation to those that brought me up. Not the abusers, but those that brought me up. And what I started to see was how unawakened souls, or souls that are supposedly unawakened, but are still exhibiting so many qualities of the awakened soul because they're so highly intuitive anyway, are here to play their part. Now, I say this again, I'm talking about my parents. My dad was also very intuitive. Okay. And they were not the abusers they were not the abusers, but they were definitely programmed in other ways, like, there's, you'll not amount to much because you're not doing it like this other person, or you know, like their motto was you would give somebody, you would give them a hiding if they were naughty, and the hiding was quite intense, so it was almost abusive rather than it was disciplinary, because I grew up in a time where slapping a child around was discipline. It wasn't abuse, right? It was chosen, it was seen as discipline, but sometimes discipline could go too far, right? So, and you know, the emotional abuse, or the feeling of unlovedness or whatever. But I was activated for things to be different after watching Jack Morrigan. And I started to see how my parents were the unawakened souls. Now, there are lots of unawakened souls on this planet that are here because they are contracted to be unawakened souls. And that is what I'm seeing. Because remember, we're supposed to do awakening now. Can you do awakening with the perfect parent? Yes, exactly. But if you really want to truly awaken, and many souls that are here on the planet, many people I know right now are not returning to Earth. Those that are awakened and are here on really coming into understanding what their light beingness is about, what this, the reason why they're star seeds and their light beingness, and what the contract is in terms of the awakening process, are coming to realize they're not coming back. So perhaps the intensity on Earth, and perhaps that intensity of the unawakened parent or the unawakened sibling, is there to intensely, to the intensity that it is, so that we can have the awakening, so that we can make this the last time, and we can clear the karma, so that we do not have to come back, or that we do not make any more karma. Now, why am I putting this out? Why am I talking about the unawakened soul? Firstly, I want to say, please understand, I am not discounting anyone's suffering. But if you're watching this and you've got here this far, I think what it's saying, what the message for you is, that we have to work on clearing the karma. And a lot of us know that we've been clearing karma for the last, especially the last 2 years, has been a lot of intense karma clearing. But, or karma, if you say karma, but I say karma because it's a Sanskrit word, and I'm of Indian descent, so I'll say karma. Okay. Now, for me, last year was a lot of personal karma that I had to clear. I was also dying in other dimensions, and so I was feeling some of the the effects in the physical way here. And then we got to this year, and then I'm noticing that a lot of the karma that I'm clearing is my childhood karma and family relations. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can identify with that, but if you identify with that, I want to bring this next point. I am not discounting that parents have been ignorant, they've been really intense, they've been sometimes cruel. I'm not discounting that. What I am saying is, if you are here and you know that you are here to fulfill the biggest mission of your life, of your lifetimes, now in this time and space, and that you do not want to return to planet Earth, or you already knew before that, before I just said what I said, that you are not returning, I'm encouraging you to go within and clear the karma. And clear it with everything and everyone. It's not easy. It's pretty ugly. But ask for the light codes that will assimilate the grief, the pain, the anger, the unforgiveness. And one of the ways that you actually do this is not through suffering. Just keep doing your mindfulness practice. Just keep meditating. You know, just go out in nature and communicate with Amagaya. Come into the understanding of what you're truly here for. Seek that from your squad in spirit, and you will have the answer. That is what I need to say to you. There are unawakened souls. There are some of them horrible. There's some of them unkind. They are torturous. They put us through torture. They do whatever. They try to bring down any kind of, any kind of integrity you may have, even if you are full of integrity. A verbal abuser will say things to break down who you are. You know that, you've been there. All right. They will tell you that you will amount to nothing in your life, or you're not worth anything. But that's not true. And you know that you are here because of who you are. And understand that when you are born on the planet and your light is shining so bright, because you've come awakened to a degree, and those that see it and don't understand it are fearful of it. And because they don't understand who you are, then they will do things to break your spirit. I said that. They will do things to snuff out your light. And for all of us that have gone through that childhood trauma, that is the kind of trauma that is really abusive or whatever, right? Whether it's emotional, physical, sexual, whatever, abuse, you know that you have carried the light, that you came with the light shining. You know that. You know it somewhere. Think back on your childhood where you saw things the adults didn't see, and you said it without thinking about it. And they were like, nah, we don't want to hear that. Children don't speak like that. Yeah. So you know that. There are those that are the unawakened souls. And also note, if they are not awakening, if they are pure evil, like we refer to them sometimes, it's because they're being used for dark things. And maybe that is the contract. But also remember that there's been deception on this planet. The dark ones have done things where they have used us in our unawakens. They've used our unawakenedness to be their ammunition to bring down anyone else who's awakened or awakening, right? So let's come into our space, friends. I've done some cleansing and clearing, and I'm just going to do it with the selenite. You do your own. If you have a crystal, hold it with you. Hold it in your hand. I have got selenite. I've got dragon's blood. So I've got musician's mode off. Let's It's not going to come out sounding very good if it's musician's mode is off. I've already cleansed with an aura cleansing spray before. Okay, just bringing in some labradorite. Holding it in my hand, I'm going to breathe. I also have in my hand a feather. A white feather left on the beach 2 days in a row by, I think it must be a seagull. Maybe it's an angel, because I'm pretty probably. First, we're just going to bring in and clear. We're going to bring in some light codes for protection for all of us here on the planet, whether you are a light worker or not, whether you are awakened soul, unawakened soul, or kind of awakening. Getting ready, everybody. Clearing for you. I'm just going to put it down. We're just going to put it far away so it doesn't sound too bad. How does it feel now after shaking the rattle, the raku? Breathing in. welcoming you into the space is the raku, the sound of the raku, the vibrations of the raku. I'm just going to hold it in my hands. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it far away from me so that you don't get, so it doesn't sound invasive. Breathing in, koranahai. Releasing. This is my hummingbird raku, karane kita. I can feel heat on my hand, on my palm that's holding the raku. This raku has been made with clay from the, I can't say the name. It has got the energies of the Chihiwaha people. And they are from Texas. I think it's Atlas, Texas. And if you're wondering if I got the name wrong, it's near Big Bend. We're bringing in understand wherever you are on the planet, you are protected by the native peoples of the land. The energy of these peoples, the spirit of these peoples that were here in ancient times, they're bringing in protection. Remember, planet Earth is the space of the ancient peoples. And they have a galactic connection. So we are bringing in the light and the energy of the galactic connection. This is a medicine woman that's coming in. She's wearing the headgear of the priest, the chief. I'm just going to move the rattle away, the raku away, and shake it again. I'm just going to hold it above us. So you can friend, there's a lot of heat here. Please receive the protection of the ancients. Please go out after this and ground yourself and touch the land, because the ancients are here to give you the protection you need on the planet right now. They stay in the stars right now, in the physicalness of them, that is the stars. But the energy remains on the planet. Now I'm just feeling guided to hold this. This is my anandalite crystal. Receive the light codes of protection. Come at my home. Here, Koforana Kiama, Etsenam. Ikanavli tle amakorona. So the machana, the raku is a maketo, not in a full speed. Anekito, remaketo nana, breketo forana, bringing in light codes. Kanikite te makata to makai. Gena, gorona, gena, magana, gadana, gododa, magaina. Kena makutuna makatana makita mana kutubana kitamata forana high. Yes, so we brought in protection from the galaxies. We brought in the light codes that you will know the truths of what is what. And to remember that our brothers of light and our sisters of stars are not against us, no matter what anyone tells you. Go within your heart and your space and understand that you are being forced or being manipulated to go back into darkness. Do not fall for the tricks of those that want to see you not fulfill your purpose on this planet. Thank you. So that is really for for those of us that, all of us, whether we awakened, unawakened, partly awakened, whatever, if I can use those words, for protection for us here, for the collective, marakata whanahe, because we are all the collective, all part of the collective. We brought in the protection, we brought in the light codes that will draw you to remembrance. Okay, now I feel we need to we'll just clear again. Karamakatafa. Drink some water if you have it available to you. Now, I just want to say, quite often people are presenting, there's even people presenting themselves as light being that are giving misinformation about intuitive stuff, okay? And this is not saying about any teacher or anything. I'm just saying in your life, check everything somebody's saying to you, all right? I believe a lot of us at the stage where we can operate autonomously, we can operate on our own, but we can also be part of a group and still hold and stand in our power, right? Hold our power, stand in our power. Hold our uniqueness and be part of the group, because that's the part of the transformation, right? Now I'm going to bring in something. I don't know if there's another African goddess or whether we got Lemuria, Beyond Lemuria cards that we want to bring in. This is for anybody. This is for all the people that have had to deal with, all of us have had to deal with unawakened souls. This one is very especially for those in childhood trauma, having struggles to forgive parents, having struggles to overcome, overcome the childhood memories of things. Okay. This was a dragon that came out yesterday. We're gonna take it. It's a number 56 dragon. This is a dragon. I think Emma showed me this. I'm not sure if she did it in yesterday's video or whether we talked about it prior to the recording, I think. But this dragon has come out. That's it. I'm gonna use it. It's called vulnerability. Okay, and I just think that's what the word vulnerability, and that it is apt. It's a number 56, which in numerology, if you add it up together, is an 11. Okay, right. I think that's it. That's the cards, and we've got that one from the African goddesses. I'm just gonna bring that one too. She's a number 33 card. I can't make it up. When I think about 33 and 11, that they are master numbers. She is her message is speak up. Okay, and Mame Koimba Bang. That's who she is. Mame Koimba Bang. I hope I said that right. And of course, Beyond Lemuria Oracle card deck by this is by Abiola Abrams. This one is by Izzy Ivy. Vulnerability, number 56. It's a dragon. This dragon is just billowing away It's got all, it looks like it has white sheets around it in my mind. It's got these like, and it's just going just like bellowing away in the cosmos and around the planet and in our skies. But look at it. All right, let's read from that one, and then I'm going to bring a message. I'm going to bring in some light codes for all of us that have gone through suffering as children, and those of us even now that as adults, or whoever you are, if it's in your space happening now, that we are going to start changing the trauma of childhood that we're still carrying. Especially, I'm not even going to say it's only for light workers or light beings. It's for everybody who is struggling with childhood trauma and needing to release it so that they can be free and live a freer life and come into their purpose, their soul's purpose on the planet right now. That is what this part is. Okay, let's read about Mama Coimba Bang. She's a number 33 card, 33 being the master number. Goddess of speaking up. That's what. And she is from Senegal. Origination is Senegal in Africa. The temple is of the griots. The element is water. So this oracle card deck is divided into 9 temples instead of 4 suites or 9 suites, and one of the temples is the griots. Mama Coimba Bang protects the mouth of the Senegal River. When making an offering to her, you must not speak to anyone else. Coming or going, sing for her, chant for her, call to her. Give Goddess Coimba your voice and she'll be happy. Mama Coimba Bang's guidance is speak up, speak out, speak on it. You have a right to be heard. Right? Not sure why. I'm not saying you. What I am saying here is speak to your higher self. Speak to your dragons. Speak to your guidance, whomever it is that you're working with in terms of your intuitive team, and work on this thing about overcoming your childhood trauma. And if it means you speak to somebody who is a professional in, say, a psychiatrist or a life coach or a counselor, whatever, do what you need to get through your process of childhood trauma. All right. The embodiment of this card is you are betraying yourself by not speaking up. Your words have power. Own your voice. As the old saying goes, stand up for something or fall for anything. Being neutral is not an option. When you stand firmly in your truth, you have thoughts, opinions, beliefs, and convictions. What do you stand for? Tell someone today. The goddess's declaration is, I reclaim my voice. I speak out and speak up. 2 more times. I reclaim my voice. I speak out and speak up. I reclaim my voice. I speak out and I speak up. There she is. Mama Coimba Bang. Speak up. Whatever that means for you. Are you somebody who knows of things happening to someone vulnerable, as in they are a child and cannot speak up for themselves? Are you going to let that happen? Are you a mother who is watching your child be abused by your partner, be it their father or their stepfather, and you're letting it happen? Speak up. Do something. Change it. Okay? It was not meant to say that, but somehow that speak up card is making me say that. Let's read about the dragon vulnerability. There's the dragon. What are we going to call it? Pillows. Oh, bellows. Or sheets. I don't know. White sheets. I don't know. But it's an amazing dragon. It's got crystals. It's got flowers. It's got a dragonfly. Let's read number 56. What does it say? Ah, there we are, almost. Real strength, holding space, healing past wounds. Oh, wow, can't make this up. Accepting yourself as you are, sharing from the depths of your heart, raw truths, compassion for others, removing your armor. Those are the words for the little descriptor. Let's read what it says. Our vulnerability can be one of the greatest gifts we can share. It can also be the hardest. In our society, we are conditioned to put on a facade, to be strong, even in times of difficulty. Paradoxically, being vulnerable is one of the strongest things we can be. It is easy to armor ourselves from the harsh truths that may be too painful to bring to the light of day. However, this causes greater suffering as buried pain becomes shadows. Unprocessed negative experiences can incarnate as much more troublesome traits or insecurities than their origin. When we are truly honest with ourselves in all our facets, we are vulnerable. That honesty is an important step in discovering our shadows and bringing them into the light for healing. Furthermore, when we share our vulnerabilities with others, we allow them to glimpse a deeper part of ourselves. This is fertile soil for trust. It plants the seeds for others to share the places that are most raw or tender for them. Our closest friendships can be formed in this place. The times when we feel too uncomfortable to reach out to others can be the very times we need them most. Having compassion and awareness of the struggle and disorientation others may be going through is a valuable contribution to the world. Holding space where others can be vulnerable is a key element of healing work. Self-love is also connected to our ability to be vulnerable, as it allows us to be true to ourselves, exactly as we are, without judgment. The divination meaning here is be vulnerable with yourself or others. It may also be time to step into the role of healer and hold space. Holding space means being fully present without judgment in a way that provides a safe and nurturing environment. In this place, guards can be dropped and a deeper level of awareness and relating can unfold, enabling unconditional love for the core of dis-ease to be discovered and for profound healing to take place. The wisdom of Izzy Ivy and the beauty of her cards, of her artwork. Forever grateful for all of these people that have created cards that we can make reference to when we are giving our energy messages. Thank you, everyone. Friends, once again, we'll clear again. Okay, let's go. Long video, but we are coming to a close very shortly. Homakema, Selekata for the Kutudo, Akilama, Chichilamati, Tufanaki, Tafrilan, Tonkramanse. Here, Namahai. Iana Tita Namaro Namahai, Namahai. Kes Karamakona. Itamakarana Katafono Katafarana Kaita to Mahaina Toto. Yalama kuto nakina makina totoforana hai tata nakea. Take a deep breath. Feet on the ground. We're shaking it out. Now receiving codes. Breathe again. Golden lights. So we brought in some light codes for all of us that have had to deal with unawakened souls. The light codes are there to help us progress, keep moving, so that we work on ourselves, starting to see and release us from any bondage of the childhood trauma that is going to deter us in this time and space from achieving our life's purpose and from achieving our soul's purpose. Is your soul purposed to stay on the earth? Is after leaving, I'll say this again, is your soul purposed to return to the earth after it leaves here in this lifetime? And is it heavy with all the karma that you hold? And is that the reason why it will return? Or do you have and know the higher purpose for your soul? And in knowing that, have you come to realize that you are not to return? And that releasing all of this is only about that unawakened soul contract's mission or purpose in awakening you. Confusing? I hope not. But I think the whole video would have given you the message of what we've done. Start to see more that that's an unawakened soul designed to awaken you. And that our life experiences are more than just that. A lot of it has to do with soul contract. We are going to come to a close at the moment, friends, because I feel there was a lot of stuff going on. The energy is big, and that we will come back and we will address this unawakened soul in another video, bringing in more light codes. It will be shorter, but it will be just something that needs to happen. But right now, in this time and space, I think we received what we needed to for now. It's heavy. Of course it's heavy. It was a lot of suffering, wasn't it? Yeah. So much love to you, friends. So much love. Namaste.